The CEO of the company that makes Remdesivir says they have enough to treat thousands of patients. Remdesivir is the first drug to show an impact in treating COVID-19, according to Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Yeah, the nation's top infectious disease specialist says that the FDA is planning to issue an emergency use authorization for this particular drug. It is currently given to patients through an IV, but Gilead is said to be working on an inhale or an oral version of the medication. And joining us now to talk about it is the Dean of College of Pharmacy and Senior Associate Vice President of USF Health, Dr. Kevin Sneed. Doctor, welcome. Thank you for joining us on the program tonight. And please, can you tell us more about the efficacy of this drug?
Well, right now, this particular medication appears to be doing very well in some trials and not as well in some other trials. The one that Dr. Fauci has been referencing really showed a reduction in the amount of time that people will spend in the hospital. But on the same day that he released that, a study came out in the Lancet showing that there was no benefit from Wuhan, China. So we need much more research moving forward.
And doctor, this is something that Americans are having to get used to, hearing all these medical terms and the names of different drugs. Now we're hearing this about Remdesivir. What can you tell us about this drug?
Well, this particular medication originally had been studied for Ebola. It didn't perform extremely well. It's only being administered by IV, so it's not being used as a prophylactic to try and prevent anything. But for those that become ill with this medication, as an antiretroviral, it helps to prevent the continued progression and growth of the virus inside the cells in the body. So we really are pretty enthusiastic about where it can go, and it really does remind me of where we were at one point in time with HIV therapy at the very beginning.
So any news is good news at this point in time concerning COVID-19, doctor. But just to be clear, this is not a vaccine. This is a treatment for people who have already contracted the disease. Am I correct?
Like to share with the public is that all of the medications right now, medications that were already on the market and have been repurposed for the use of treatment in COVID-19. We're probably anywhere from 9 to 12 months out from a true vaccine being available worldwide, although we are getting promising results from Oxford University, and even right here in the United States, several companies are making tremendous progress with the vaccine. But all of the medications that we have available were things that were indicated for something else.
Are there any side effects of this Remdesivir?
The side effects so far have been pretty mild. You know, we do see a little bit of kidney abnormalities, but nothing dangerous apparently. And there are some things that we have to watch out with the liver, but typically the typical course for the Remdesivir for a purpose in COVID will be anywhere from 5 to 10 days of IV therapy. And so at this current time, the safety profile has been more than good enough to continue the trial.
And that drug's been around for a while?
I wouldn't say it's been around for a very long time, clearly not as long as some other medications on the market. But it has been around long enough to have been tested for Ebola when we had the Ebola breakout several years ago. And we do have confidence moving forward that this medication and similar medications like it will continue to come out on the market moving forward.
And doctor, as an expert in pharmacology, kind of walk us through the steps that it takes to move a drug from not the experimental phase, but from a phase of being used for one thing to being used as an overall prescription to treat something, such as COVID-19?
But that's an outstanding question. From the time that we discover a medication, becomes FDA approved at that current time, we kind of tell the physician and other providers what it can be used for. When we find additional cases for it, we begin doing additional research, and then we repurpose the medication to try and move over into treatments like COVID and other things that we see that it may be effective for. So, but quite honestly, once you get FDA approval of a medication, physicians really have a wide latitude to use it for a number of different things as long as it's not harmful to the patient.
And how long does it take for that process to normally to bear out from the stage of, well, okay, we have it, to, okay, it's now something that's useful?
Well, it depends on the stage of where that medication is. Once you reach about a phase 3 study, it may take a few years for it to come out and get FDA approval. If it's already on the market and you want to use it, like Remdesivir being used for COVID, you can make a petition to the FDA and get emergency use authorization, and then you can begin using that medication almost immediately for what we call either compassionate use for people that are really ill, or you can use it for clinical trials. So it's nothing that will be widely used, but right now we do have it available.
Dr. Sneed, you're giving us some really great information about this drug. We appreciate it. Your audio, we're having a little bit of problems, but I just wanted to ask you quickly one last question before we wrap up. Do you have any idea how much this type of drug costs?
That's a very good question. I think we're all kind of bracing for what the market will bear with patient. Hundreds of dollars per dose moving forward, but we'll have to see what Gilead would decide to do forward with that medication.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You had great information. Once again, we apologize. We did have a little bit of audio troubles there, but we wanted to hang in with you as long as possible because we're all interested in hearing about this and very hopeful that this is something that's going to help a lot of people. Thank you so much, Dr. Sneed.
Yeah, please come back and join us again, won't you?